G'day guys, MFWest here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my Frost guide. So, when I made my Unholy guide, I never thought that it would get as popular as it did, so I'm going to put as much effort as I put into that one into this guide. So, guys, I'm just going to give you like a rough explanation. I basically want to condense everything into like a less than 15-minute video. I don't want to drag this on like those guys that talk about it for 30-40 minutes. That's just too long to just get information. It's way too long of a time. So first of all, I just want to discuss Frost DK situation. Right now, as you've seen in my previous videos, it is a dominant spec for Death Knights. That is, unless you have the, like I said, the Unholy Legendaries, that Frost is extremely strong right now. And in terms of where it is in the game, in terms of DPS classes, it's around the middle of the pack, which allows you with a good knowledge of the class and correct talents and setups to push towards your top half of the raid for DPS. So unless anything changes in 7.15, Frost is the strong spec, and it's the spec you're going to be playing in 7.15. So hopefully this guide will benefit you. I'll be going into depth with the talents, the rotations, stats, artifact path, best in slot trinkets, best in slot relics, and I'm going to give you guys a few kind of like live footage of me doing some bosses and just giving you guys an idea of the rotation and what to expect. Alright guys, let's get right into the freaking talents. Alright guys, so let's get into the talents. The first row, but basically guys, this spec that I'm going to give you, it's pretty much standard for the majority of things you do. In Mythic Pluses though, I would recommend Frost Scythe, but I'll go into that as I discuss each of the talents. The first row is a no-brainer guys. Icy Talons is your core mechanic, and it's one of the things that you have to be tracking. I would recommend using weak auras, anything that you use to track this debuff. Basically, you just want to keep your attack speed up at a certain rate as 3 stacks, and you want to maintain it by using Frost Strike to maintain your Icy Talons buff. Quite simple, and honestly, all the Frost DK as a spec is quite simple, but it can be quite complicated when you look into the dynamics of it. But it's quite a simple spec, guys. Next row, so Icy Talents. Next row, Frozen Pulse. Frozen Pulse is so strong, guys, and especially once you get into it in your artifact traits, it's going to be your go-to talent. Basically, when all your runes are down, it's going to actually just pulse, and it does a shitload of AoE damage, not even joking, and it's your go-to choice for single target. It's really a no-brainer, guys. Freezing Fog, I could only see you taking this in like a prolonged AoE fight like Il'gynoth, but even then, Frozen Pulse is going to pull ahead. And I'm going to emphasize it so much, guys. Simming your character and simming your character with different talents is so important. Just don't take my word for just telling you guys that these talents are the best options. These are the best talents that I've found that increase my DPS to the max. These are like the best. And everyone's going to be different, but majority of these talents is what you should be taking. Okay, the next line. It is the most controversial line, and it's the line that anyone that makes a Frost DK guide is going to get shit for. And that is this line, the level 58 line. Basically, it's between Avalanche and Ice Cap. Now, what is the better one, you say? That is total preference, guys. And it's up to you. The community is like split between Avalanche and Ice Cap. I personally like taking Avalanche because, honestly, from doing tests on single targets for 3 to 5 minutes, and in general from simming, it's doing about 3k DPS more for me. I could imagine Ice Cap actually being really strong when we start farming Heroic Emerald Nightmare. I guess Ice Cap could be quite strong for single target fights and stuff, and also AoEs, but for me, guys, right now, Avalanche is the choice. Alright, the next line, level 60 line. Honestly, guys, Winter is Coming is very strong, especially for Mythic Pluses. When you pop your Pillar of Frost, and while your Remorseless Winter is active, it's going to freeze the targets for 4 seconds. That's really, really good for when a pull goes wrong, for example, Mythic Plus. And it's good for, well, be careful in Il'gynoth when, if you pop Pillar of Frost and Remorseless Winter and the bloods get frozen. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that, guys, but yeah, the other two options aren't very good. Maybe take Abomination's Might for Heya for slowing down and stopping the ads, but otherwise, guys, Winter is Coming is the option here. This line, not that crazy, guys. Permafrost, it's going to give you basically a shield for 30% of the damage that you deal. Yeah, Permafrost is the go-to choice here. None of the others really help. I wish we had that talent that Unholy has that actually increases the speed of your Wraith Walk. I really miss that. Alright guys, next line. For single target and raiding and all bosses in Emerald Nightmare, I would recommend Runic Attenuation. You can go check the WoW logs and go see which DKs actually run Frost Scythe for example, Renferal, Il'gynoth. It's majority are running Runic Attenuation, and I also agree running this, even for Mythics Emerald Nightmare as well. Again, personal preference, sim it out, see what's actually doing more DPS for you. I prefer Runic Attenuation. And the last row, quite controversial as well. I really prefer running Obliteration for single target spec. So, for Emerald Nightmare, for example, I would only run Obliteration for Nithendra and Ursoc. The rest, I run Glacial Advance because GA is very strong when there's a second target, for example, like on Xavius when you stack the other ad on top of the boss, very strong. Cenarius adds strong, you're going to be hitting multiple targets with it. And yeah, some people actually prefer taking GA on single target fights to make the rotations seem a bit more flowing, but guys, like I said, sim it. Obliteration is doing a shitload more DPS to me in my sims for single target. But otherwise guys, for all AoE fights, Glacial Advance is definitely an option. Those are the talents guys. If you want to ask any questions down below in the comments, feel free. And for those wondering, all the timestamps for everything here is in the description. Alright guys, on to the artifacts. Your artifact path. Rightio guys, the artifact path for your Frost artifact. Now most of you probably have this almost finished, you're probably 30 plus, but for those just started Death Knights, let's get right into it. So you're going to start over here at Crystalline Swords, and I recommend you going straight down to Syndragos' Fury. This baby hits about, for me personally, 2.7, 2.8k million crits. Pretty awesome guys. I'm going to go over your top 3 relics as soon as I finish discussing the path. And actual spreadsheets found in the Discord channel, very, very helpful, the DK Discord channel. After you've got Syndragos' Fury, guys, you're going to head over and get Cold as Ice, and then you're going to head up all the way to Hypothermia, and along the way picking up your best relic slots. Once you hit Hypothermia, guys, you're going to pick up Blast Radius, which is your second best relic. And after you've picked up Blast Radius, you're going to go up to Ice in Your Veins, and you're going to head down to Frozen Soul. Now, once you've got Frozen Soul, your third gold trait, you're going to head back and pick up Bad to the Bone, and which is going to basically increase the damage of your Razor Ice Runeforge, which got buffed, I believe, this patch, so not so bad. And then after you've picked up that, guys, all you're going to have left is Chill of the Grave, which is quite helpful in a lot of encounters. So there you have it, guys. That is the pathing, and basically, in the description is going to be a best in slot relic list made by DKs in the Discord channel who number crunch and whatnot, and it's a spreadsheet explaining the best in slot relics. So say for example you get a 880 Frozen Core, and then you get an 860 Ambidexterity. It's going to tell you which one actually gives you more DPS, which is very helpful. That is extremely helpful for you in all situations, especially PvE. So there you guys have it. That is the artifact path. Quite simple and straightforward. Let's get into the stat weights and stat priorities. Rightio guys, stat weights. And I'm going to be dead honest with you. This is a pretty controversial topic right now because stats have changed a lot. Now guys, everyone thinks that stats you need a certain amount of crit, a certain amount of haste, a certain amount of mastery for your character, and everyone strives to try and hit that perfect number. That's not how it works guys, it's changed. Basically the only number that I can tell you that is required for Frost DKs is 20% haste. Now, you ask me why 20% haste. For the Obliteration talent, basically, I'll read it out for you guys. For the next 8 seconds, every Frost Strike hit triggers Killing Machine, and Obliterate costs 1 less rune. In this window that you pop Obliteration, you want to try and get 7 GCDs worth of abilities. With 20% haste, you'll be able to actually hit 7 GCDs. It's a minor DPS boost in your rotation, and when you're simming and stuff, 20% haste is a massive increase to your damage. So, guys, that's quite important for your opening rotation and every other time you use Obliteration in the fight, which would be 2 to 3 times, depending on the fight. So that is the only requirement, guys. Like, look at my stats, for example. Critical Strike, 34%. That's crap. 17% haste, I'm not at that 20% haste cap. Mastery is 29%. That's I mean, my stats are pretty bizarre, right? But right now, I'm simming at 393k DPS. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why does this guy keep fucking saying simming, simming, simming? Guys, simming is bloody important. It's bloody important because it's going to basically give you your stat weights and stat priorities. Don't take my word for it, of everything I'm saying. Like, obviously, crit, haste, and versatility are like 3 of our best stats, obviously, guys, but which of those stats is more important all depends on your own character. I can't tell you your character's stat weights. It's different for every character. I can show you my stat weights. I'll show you guys. Check. Right here. For example, I'm simming at 393k DPS with the talent setup I told you guys, and that is with 0.062% error. I'm not a robot. I will not hit that, but I can tell you guys right now, I'm hitting the high 370s. Mid 380s, and that's really good. So you should be actually trying to actually get as close to this number as possible. Now, these are my stat weights. Don't copy these. These are my own character stat weights. Strength 11.59, haste 9.92, versatility as actually stronger than all the rest of my other stats besides haste and strength, obviously. Mastery and crit. Crit is low because I have 34% crit. I got too much crit, but that's the best I can do with the gear that I have. This is the best simming result I have with those stats. At one point, I'm not even shitting you, I had my haste was so little that strength weighed less than haste. That's pretty fucked up. Basically, guys, you want to actually sim so you can actually get your own stat weights and stat priority. Now, if you're wondering how the fuck do I actually sim, 3 to 4 days ago, I actually made a video explaining how to sim your character, how to actually benefit your Frost Death Knight, and all that jazz. It also works for every other class, but I actually included the Frost DK APL. So guys, I recommend every time you get a new piece of gear, I recommend you actually equipping it, simming your character, getting your new stat weights, and then plugging your weights into an add-on called Pawn. Don't worry, my guide explaining simming explains how to use Pawn as well. You're going to plug in the weights here, and that is going to optimize and tell you what pieces of gear are giving you the best DPS. So for example, these are all my best slot pieces right now in terms of giving me the best stats. So you won't have to actually kind of ask yourself, is this piece of gear better or is this one? So guys, that's pretty much it. Once you actually have all your best gear on, all you have to do naturally is just learn, like focus on your rotation and understand the fight, when to pop your cooldowns, and etc, etc, and your stat weights will just keep coming. Don't go to guides and go like, okay, crit is the top stat here, I'm just going to get maximum amount of, like, shitloads of crit. That's not how it works. Every character is different, guys. So let's hit the freaking rotation, guys. Righto guys, the Frost DK rotation. Many call it the brain dead rotation, and honestly it's nowhere near as complicated as the unholy rotation, but the open is very important. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you guys before we start the rotation, a few fundamental things. I forgot to mention enchantments. Rune of Razor Ice on one of your weapons, and Rune of the Fallen Crusader on the other. Now, all boss fights, doesn't matter when in the expansion, you need to know the duration of the fight, roughly, and how many times and when to be popping your cooldowns. I'm going to give a vague example. Heroic Ursoc, everyone's farming it because it's pissed easy right now. For Heroic Ursoc, I use my cooldowns twice. At the start, and I saved them a second time when we Lust when he enrages. And starts dealing a lot of shitload of damage to everyone. So that's just an example of when you should be kind of like timing your cooldowns effectively in the fight. All fights have like a sweet spot, and I just want to mention Syndragos' Fury. You want to use that cooldown, your big dragon breath thing, as many times as you can in a fight. Now, when you use it, obviously you want to cleave as many targets as you can. You want to be hitting as many targets, you want to be buffing the shit out of it. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, I have Eye of Commands. Now, basically, for the perfect Syndragosa for me would be full stacks of Eye of Command, Rune of the Fallen Crusader proc, Pillar of Frost is up, and my Potion of the Old War is still active. When all those four are up, my Syndragosa is going to hit some record crits and just highs. It's going to hurt a shit ton. And when my Eye of the Command is fully like stacked, I'm at like 40% haste almost, so pretty high chance that it will crit. Righty guys, so that's pretty much it before I get into the rotation. Also at the start of the rotation, when you pop Obliteration, I would not recommend using Remorseless Winter. Do not touch anything else, just focus on getting those 7 GCDs of Obliterates and Frost Strikes. I'll show you guys what I mean right now. Okay guys, this is the rotation. I'm going to do a DBM pull timer. I'm going to slow it down as well for you guys. All my abilities used are in the top left hand corner. At 1 second, I'm going to pre-pot using my Potion of the Old War, then followed by Pillar of Frost and Howling Blast, watch top left. Once I have done that, I'm going to use my Obliterate GCD, and then only once that GCD is finished, I'm going to use my Obliteration, and then I'm going to Frost Strike, Obliterate, Frost Strike, Obliterate, for the whole duration, obviously, for that Obliteration. And remember what I said, guys, if you got 20% haste, you'll be able to fit 7 GCDs in there. That's the very important part of that opening rotation. Once that's done, guys, you want to make sure that you have all your buffs and debuffs for your Frost Breath. You want to make sure that your Frost Breath is buffed as fuck before you use it. Unholy Strength, Pillar of Frost, I have Command fully stacked, your pre-pot still going, all those things. It's going to hit like a truck if you hold and make sure you have all those things. I recommend using weak auras to actually track it. So there's the Frost Breath. Now, here comes the basic rotation. You still have your Empowered Rune Weapon. Basically, you want to use all your runes and then use your Empowered Rune Weapon. Make sure everything is on, all your runes are on cooldown. Now, remember what I said before this rotation. Only use Remorseless Winter when you have 1 rune left. I just used it there, and that is an example of the rotation. If you do have, like me, the Legendary Ring, Necrophantasia, as soon as your runes are actually all on cooldown again, use your second Empowered Rune Weapon, and it will line up for the next set of GCDs. Everything will line up. So that's basically it, guys. I'm actually going to fasten it up again and show you guys the basic rotation after the burst. Alright guys, the basic rotation. So all you want to do is basically, you want to make sure that you're keeping your Icy Talons up. Track that debuff using weak auras or any other add-on. Basically all you have to do is Frost Strike before the stack falls off. You want to be Frost Striking with no less than 40 runic power, and you want to be using your Obliterate when you have 2 runes. You want to be using Rhyme when it procs, and Obliterate, Remorseless Winter, like I said before, when you have 1 rune left. Basically stick to that rotation, guys, and you'll be fine. And then your cooldowns will line up again. Your Obliteration and Pillar of Frost will line up again soon, and use them on cooldown. Use them effectively. Make sure you use them in the fight when you actually will have uptime on the target or boss. Don't use it when you're running around, obviously, guys. And that's basically the rotation, guys. I mean, the open is very important, and then once you have the core rotation, it's quite simple. I make mistakes a lot. I try to keep this rotation as clean as possible. When I post boss fight, rotate like boss fight kills and stuff, you'll see I make mistakes, but that's basically the idea that you want to keep. And I will be making a separate video for Mythic Dungeon rotations for AoE pulls and stuff. That's going to be separate. This is purely single target. And yeah, guys. Alright, let me just sum up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. There you have it, guys. That is my Frost DK guide. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I covered everything, and like I said, guys, I'm going to make a video about the AoE rotation and Mythic Pluses. That's going to be in a future video. I hope you guys enjoyed Christmas and New Year's, and honestly, guys, coming back to the Mythic Pluses, if people don't take us, they don't know what they're missing out on. Frost DKs are fucking strong in Mythic Pluses right now, guys. Like, people don't know what they're missing out on. So, oh yeah, one thing as well. I just thought we could take like a minute of silence for Unholy, and if we could just pray that it gets buffed in 7.15. They do some changes that make it somewhat viable in PvE and PvP. Jesus. So 1 minute of silence. Okay. Alright, that's good enough, guys. Fucking hell, guys. Alright, please, if you like this video, if you enjoyed the guide, share it with your friends, like it. It means a shit ton to me if you guys can do that. And yeah, guys, have an awesome New Year's and Chrissy. I'll keep posting videos. Have an awesome day. MFWest out.